Good day, good love, and good light on this April 1st, 2022 new moon gateway 4/1/2022 equals 11 gateway. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Wendy, this is Dave, and we are here to share with you our infinite highest joys and excitements in sharing all the forms of the languages of lights that we are so inspired to do in all the different ways that we're inspired to do it. Thank you, all of you, for your love, your kindness, your joy, your sharing, your awareness, your presence, the gift of your presence. For it truly is, as my guides were sharing with me today, that today's cup of inspiration, so here we are sharing our cup of inspiration to all of you today, for we're just simply inspired to take these moments. And here we are in the late afternoon here in the United States, in Alabama. So it's a gorgeous day today, beautiful, beautiful April 1st day. So we're wishing all of you a magical, miraculous April and beginning of new moon, new projects, new beginnings, new birth. It was very interesting. I actually got a reading. I did a reading for ourselves today because we were looking for some clarity on some things going on in our own life. And so thank you, all of you, too, for asking and sharing, asking about us and how we're doing in our normal day-to-day life. And so part of what our joy in sharing, not only light language, so if you're new to my channel, I'm a light language linguist. Well, we both are, actually. And I've been sharing light languages in all of the different forums that I've been so... I want to use a different word besides inspired, but inclined is a good word. Whether it's verbal, singing, speaking, hand signing, symbols, and so it's a joyous thing also to have someone in my life that also shares all of these excitements with me as well, and also speaks light language.
And I'm very excited to share all of this with Wendy.
So, and we're
I love you.
I love you. I always get tongue tied with all of this because there's so many things I love to share, and that's one of them, is how, as more and more of us awaken, we're meeting each other, and we're finding our tribe, we're finding our vibrational meetings and matches, and forming new relationships and new types of relationships. And so beginnings are also the following of the endings. And so and so we've been extremely excited that we've got spring weather here. So whether you're here in the northern hemisphere and you're enjoying spring, or if you are in the southern hemisphere and you're still experiencing the summer and into the autumn months, we're experiencing our new hummingbirds for the first time here in our new nest.
They came right away for Wendy.
And
as
soon as I put up the feeders, they were here. So if you've been watching my channel for a little while, you've probably seen quite a few videos with hummingbirds in them, because they're just so fascinating to me. And the collective themselves have actually shared different insights with me. So once we become aware of our co-creation here, we truly begin to understand everything is communicating with us. Everything in creation is created from light, therefore shares and speaks and emits its own frequency, its own language of its own light. And so this is one of the things that I have been so excited and guided to share with all of you for all of these years now, is that once we become more in tune, we literally begin to see and hear and speak all of the languages that the light of creation has to share with us. So whether it's physical light, whether it's food, whether it's color, whether it's symbols, sounds, the animal collective, the plant collective, it doesn't really matter what it is that it has been created. It is all created from the same one diamond star, and that of which we are all a part. And unity consciousness and higher dimensional education helps us understand more clearly, especially when we're in nature. And we're delighted to be in nature today to share this beautiful day with you, that we become more connected and more aware and more interactive with the multiverse, with our higher selves, with our guides. So often the question often is how do we start? Where do we, how do we begin to even connect with our angels, our guides, how do we start speaking light languages? What are they, and what purposes do they have? And so my journey has been, and joy is, to share the unity of all of these things and how they present themselves to me and how I express them in my own world and also in our day-to-day lives. And so I've often shared with many of you how blessing speaking to our water, speaking to our plants. We already know that, but that's plants actually. Science knows now. Plants sing, they speak music, so we hear.
And they respond to us.
And they absolutely respond to our song, our speaking, our singing, just like animals do. So this is definitely not the direction I was planning to go, but all of these things I'm just so inspired to show the connection, and that is unity consciousness.
Good. And speaking of that, we have been talking about the idea of doing live hangouts again, because it's also in our highest joy to hang out
Yes.
and talk with all of you and discuss these things live. Also to share your light language and your inspiration with us live. And it hasn't happened yet, but we were going to try to go live today on YouTube, and YouTube wasn't letting us.
Just won't let me.
So now we're just making a video.
So on this new moon day, I wanted to do something new because it's something I've never really done. I've always pre-scheduled webinars and live hangouts, or just made videos. And I thought, well, how fun would it be to just go live today? And for whatever reason, it just wasn't going to happen.
And we were doing it through the phone. So we weren't using the normal Zoom. We were just going to go live on YouTube.
Which I've played with and I was successful doing before, so I'm not really sure what happened there. But so we just decided to just sit out here and make a video instead. So
let us know if you're interested in doing live hangouts.
Yeah, because we're still interested, and I've still got my Zoom room, and so I was thinking about how much fun we had before with on Wednesdays with Wendy, and also on Goddess Fridays. So when we did kind of regular hangouts, so it's been something we've been exploring. So if you're new to my channel, thank you for joining us. We've done a recent relocation here in the United States from Florida to Alabama. And so we're literally still unpacking and getting things ready. And we've got construction projects going on. And so we've been here less than 6 months. So we've got all kinds of just balls in the air. And so all the places that we're setting up to do videos are sort of all half done.
And it's springtime.
And so now we want to be outside and plant flowers.
We have a big yard and area for flowers and other seeds to be sown. And
I pulled the planting seeds card today in the gateway deck, because today feels like a gateway to me today. So I brought the gateway deck, one of my favorites by Denise Lynn. And so I pulled the planting seeds card, which was in our reading that I did for us today, so which offered extreme clarity. And so if you're wondering a little bit about how that works too, whether you come in contact with light languages or a particular oracle reading, always know that your guides and your higher self are always speaking to you, and so and to us. And so I simply asked for clarification on this project that we've been working on and which direction to go, and it was on the money. And I only pulled 4 cards because that was what was instinctively what came out. So and yet then I tell myself, well, of course it's going to be in perfect synchronicity for what I want the answers to, because that's what I'm asking for. So when we wonder, well, how do we know if this message is really for us? Well, because you're here, because you're listening. So therefore, it is for you. And I was reminded also by Bashar, channeled through Daryl Anka. I'm sorry, I'm always covering Dave's face when I'm talking with my hands. Um, that if you're excited about something, you're going to be good at it, because if you weren't excited, it's by virtue of being excited about it, you'll be good at it. And I've already brought this up in videos before, but it was that I was reminded of that of myself too. And it's been a while since I also have let myself to just sit down and make a video. And whether it was pre-planning it, we've also been hesitant, not hesitant, but so busy spontaneously living our life moment by moment that we haven't been in the planning weekly, mode. But yet it's exciting to do that. It's fun. It's fun to have a little continuity with all of you. So it is definitely something that we're still interested in doing. And so if you are new to the channel, we share light languages, channeled messages, we just our day-to-day life, but how we apply this stuff in our day-to-day life. So that's been one of my highest joys as well, is all of this stuff is great, but what do we do with it all, And I've actually been receiving more connections with other beings as well. And even I ask myself, well, what do I do with it? What is the value of the information when I'm receiving it? And again, as Dave reminds me too, it's really about the sharing. And sometimes it is just the sharing of you and that being. But there's value in all of that. And our focuses are so vast too, that we have Open Contact TV, which we've barely started that YouTube channel, but it's really more focused toward talking about open contact, the protocols of first contact. What is first contact with other beings from other places in space? What does that actually mean to all of us? And what is this whole thing with the hybridization program and hybrid children? And so our interests and excitements are very vast and widespread, in addition to creating the version of the earth that we wish to be on, so therefore acting in those ways. Whether it's becoming more and more aware of how we can take better care of ourselves and the planet at the same time. Higher consciousness education is about how can we make better choices about the things that we're doing to ourselves, our bodies, our planets. And so that's one of the topics that we've been excited about sharing, and that's kind of like a whole new venue, but yet it's all interconnected. So it's like I feel as if I'm also separating everything and labeling it all, but yet my whole joy is explaining how it's all connected. So yeah, it's been kind of interesting for me to decide how do I want to focus all of this information and energies. And so right now I'm being guided to share with you that I was introduced to what I understand to be, I guess it would be a counterpart of mine, from what I understand to be the sixth hybrid race, but yet she's not born yet. Her name is Asha. And at least I feel her as a she, as a female. And it's very interesting, that concept, because we're not, when we drop the idea of linear thinking, now this sort of wanders off of the subject of light language, and it sort of gets more into the idea of opening contact with more of our multidimensional selves. It sort of gets into the whole ET contact thing, and the whole idea of creating a whole nother version of human beings, a whole nother higher vibrational version of those human beings. Yet, how do we take the information that we're learning and apply that in such a way that we begin to create that version, literally move to that version of reality in which that exists? And so every action that we take toward these things, you wake up, I say wake up the next day, but it doesn't even take the next minute. You can look something up on the internet and you have a whole brand new set of information. And so our awareness lately and my own personal experiences with plastics and polyester clothing and has been um, exploding for me now, because now I'm focusing on it, and now I'm moving in the direction and making action in that direction. And of course, now I'm waking up every day seeing more and more information. Even Sadhguru today, we saw a video today about him talking. I don't even know how old the video was. It could have been several years old. I'm not sure, but talking about plastics and in our bodies. And then we just saw recently an article about plastics being found in our bloodstreams, and how children, even Sadhguru said, children should not be wearing polyester clothing, and nor should adults for that matter. So all of this it rises within us, all of this knowingness that we don't really always know how to deal with it. We don't know, if because it feels overwhelming. We feel all kinds of emotions. We feel guilt. We feel we need to respond. We feel overwhelmed. We feel like we have no power. We feel like we got to do something about it. And so that all of these energies we don't know quite what to do with it all and how to address each one of these things. And so our what do I always want to, I feel like I'm always saying the same words, but like us beginning the Open Contact TV channel, for example, and talking about hybrid children, all of these things are all interconnected, yet they're all its own huge subject. So so with that said, I'm not really sure where I was going to go with all that, because I just sort of go with the flow here. I really have cards in front of me, which was really funny, of one of the synchronicities, but I know Dave wants to
You have
chime
some
in too.
coffee, and I'll chime in. Perfect segue, mentioning going with the flow. So I believe that at a higher level, that we've all agreed that we want to move into a higher consciousness, and we want to experience the ways of experiencing higher frequencies, higher consciousness, higher awareness. A common thing you will hear amongst light workers would be love and light, and we want to be in a reality where everything is love and light and peace and harmony. So I believe that everyone here experiencing Earth and this reality has agreed for that to happen. And the idea of going with the flow is learning through higher consciousness teaching the principles that will allow you to go with the flow with ease and grace, because it's happening anyway. And you could fight it and be resistant to it, and that will make it more difficult for you. And it's up to you to decide how you want to do it. If you want it to be more difficult and be resistant to things. But one of the virtues of moving to this higher consciousness and higher vibration are the things that don't belong are going to want to shake loose. Yep. And they're brought to your attention so you could let them go. So you can look at things as bad things happening to you, or you could look at things in a positive way, which I would recommend, that these things are there for your benefit. And of course, you create your own reality. So these things are being created by you, for you, to assist with all of these things. You still have free will, and part of that free will is choosing to be less connected than you actually are to all that is, which includes, of course, your true higher self and the full being that you are, of infinite energy and wisdom and knowledge and awareness. So the idea of going with the flow also really means to use all of these things to achieve a higher consciousness. And as you gain a higher consciousness understanding of things, things become much more obvious. And we say we want clarity, and we ask for clarity all the time about certain things. Well, you do get it.
You do.
You may not like it, but one of the things, for instance, might be finding out about how plastics are not really good for nature or humanity. And we have hours and hours of things that we would love to talk about, and haven't exactly figured out the best way we want to breach the subject, to keep things in a positive way and to help enlighten people about choices that they make, and that there are other choices available. And this is just one example where, when you're acting in a way that you prefer things to be, even if you can't actually achieve it at the moment, but you're doing your best to act in the way that you would prefer things to be. For instance, a simple thing is, polyester clothes. Stop wearing them. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. Then it's not important for you at this moment. But even just the idea of people being vegan, or people making life choices and acting that way, what we could actually see in our reality, and of course, by doing that, we're moving to realities where these things are more in alignment with our beliefs and our desires. But you could actually see, all of a sudden, people are talking about plastic not being good and foam things not being good for you.
Oh, that's a whole nother thing that we're excited to share with you guys too.
That not treating animals properly is not a good thing, and how you want to act to affect some change is up to you. But
that's a good example
too. Those actions bring you to a higher reality, where those things are actually coming into manifestation in a way.
Absolutely.
That you're now, the reality that you experience, you are now moving to a reality, because you never change the world you're on. You're moving to a world.
That's exactly what I was going to reiterate, was
But you only move to the world that you prefer if you're acting in the way that you would act if you were in that world. So you could prefer all you want. If you're not changing your life in a way that's in alignment with the world that you say you want to be on, and actually being that person.
Otherwise, you will not see the reflection of those examples in your life every day. It just won't. It doesn't work that way.
You will see the reflection of how you're actually acting, as opposed to how you want things to be.
And actually, I was thinking when you were just saying that too, how it's almost a relief, and that's sort of what surrender is about too, is that it sort of I don't want to say it lets us off the hook, but it gives us that stop beating ourselves up, because once we understand it's physics, you literally, as soon as you make that decision, you're now in a new version, a completely brand new version of Earth, completely brand new version of Earth. That moment. As soon as you make the decision, as soon as you create the crystallized action, you're now on the new version. So now you're going to see not sad stories, you're going to start to see the happy stories. That's the difference. It's not that you're ignoring, my guides even said something to me too about letting go, and they're like, if you guys would just understand, it's not that you need to let go of the thought, it's simply that you need to redirect your thought. And we hear this from every single motivational speaker, all the channels, the Abraham, Bashar, it doesn't matter who, they're all saying the same thing. It's not about fighting the fight. It's about moving and doing the things that you prefer, and the way that you want to prefer to see things is the only way you're going to see that reflection in the new version of that version of reality that you're in. So
and the same advice comes from non-spiritual
exactly
motivational leaders, and I'll just use the word leaders, but it's really all the same thing. Different ways of presenting the information, simplified for particular purposes, perhaps, but the bottom line is we're all, like I said before, we're all moving to a higher consciousness. So the storyline is really going to be the same everywhere. And more people are going to be picking up on that and be excited about it. And at the same time, there's going to be a lot of shaking up that happens. And you see things in the world that seem to be in chaos. But what's really happening is that the truths are being revealed. People are getting their opportunities to make better choices. And sometimes even the bad guy is playing his part to allow others an easier way to see what their choices are and to decide. And it's always up to you. And as Wendy said, you can make your choices at any time, at any moment, and they're made immediately. You don't have to decide, well, maybe in the next month I'll get better at this, or I'll work on that. You can, if you want it to take a month, but you could decide right now. You could be in a circumstance right now, and you're just not sure what to do. You can decide that moment that you want to change, and actually change to your preferred way of being, and sometimes you will see immediate effects.
Well, one of the ways I did that. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, and it can be even in a conversation with someone, that you're in a conversation with someone and you don't like the way it's going, and you feel as though it's coming from a negative place, or you are feeling triggered by some things. Well, those are all signs to tell yourself, this is not how I prefer to be. I want to be a person that acts this way. And you could change that immediately. And your interaction with that person may very well immediately change. That person might not do what you want them to do, but
it's the no insistence part too.
But you might, you're offering a higher vibration to the situation, and oftentimes what you're really doing is you're moving to a different vibrational reality, where the person that you were just talking to a moment ago is no longer that person, because that person's from a different vibrational reality. And depending on uh, the nature of the interaction, because sometimes that person who is, let's say, just being mean to you, he might be being mean to you because he's really helping you to decide on a higher level how you want things to be in your life. So if it's not changing, it might be because, in a sense, you've hired that person to come into your life and shake you up. So once again, that also comes back to always being thankful and in gratitude for all the things that you're presented with, because nothing can happen to you without your planning it, because your higher self is also you, and he's the director.
I was just gonna say it's the ultimate theater. You know, you get to play every part: the director, the scene, the creator of the scenes, the actors, the orchestra, the production team. You get to be it all because we're doing it all. And my dreams lately. Talking about constructing your reality, that blueprint reality. When my dreams have been crazy, amazing, interacting with people and remembering more and more. So those are subjects for a whole another day, I think. But
let's pick some cards,
but
show some cards.
The funny thing is that I keep putting my coffee on the table. It's wobbling. Delicious, by the way, French press. Yum, yum, yum. So as I'm asking my guides what decks to grab, because I most of them are still kind of in another area, so I only had a couple of them at hand, and so I was going through and kind of asking my guides which ones. And so one of my favorites is also the Earth Magic deck. I absolutely love this. And so since we're sitting here and sitting outside and it's this beautiful, gorgeous day, I thought, what a perfect segue. And she's holding all of these animals, and it's a beautiful, so all these significations of symbols of spring and new beginnings, at least here in this part of the world. And I took out the deck. I literally cut it in half, and I'm not kidding you. This is how this stuff works. And even the scene here is pretty incredible. So I literally pulled the new moon card. Now, I know the Queen of Synchronicity here. It's like you wonder sometimes, okay, should I keep being surprised? Because I never lose the wonder of the moment when these things happen. And it's like, okay, how did that happen? But it's like, of course it happened. So literally the new moon card on the first day of April, and the new moon being today, and it's literally the first the beginning of the astrological calendar as well. So it's the new. And when I very first started receiving information, that was one of the first things I received, was my own journey as a speaker, and in all the ways and all the dimensions that may mean, and that my name was Speaker New, and they spelled it N-U, which is interesting on a lot of different levels now that I understand even more and more of the big picture story, and exploring Anu and all of those things, and our story of the beginning of us as humans. Wow. Ba-boom. That was really funny timing, the beginning, and it was like ba-boom. And that actually distracted me big time. And that my name, Wendy, and my friends and family always just called me Wen. Well, when you flip it backwards, it's new, N-E-W. And so this whole thing about every now is new and every moment is new. And so it was kind of an interesting synchronicity. But yeah, so the new moon card. I couldn't believe it, and this the it's promise. And so, and if you can see the picture, so regardless of whether you're making a promise, as we're talking about today, making a promise to yourself, and really, whether you're making a promise to another person, whether you're still making the promise to and for yourself, period. And so anytime, and when we say promise, we're saying, I intend with all my heart to devote myself to this idea, this manifestation. So and often many of us understand that promises shouldn't be broken. And maybe that's a whole nother day for exploration, that whole idea of promises. But I think it's more of a heartfelt intention that on this day that I promise myself, and if we can remember that every now is new, that, as Dave said a few minutes ago, you can change it every moment, every moment, every moment. So if we understand that, I just simply promise myself that I will do my best to live in the highest vibration I can in that moment, and that means following my instincts, being an example of, for example, I myself have been reacting from a place of the past. In other words, I'm comparing now to before, which is ridiculous because, first of all, there is no before and there is only now. And shifting that perspective to literally, how is the person I want to be? How do I want to respond? And how can I more be present in my moment? And sometimes it's the literal Abraham 17 seconds, counting backwards, whatever it takes in that moment to say, wait a second, is this really how I want to portray myself? Is this really how I want to create this moment? Do I want to create this moment based upon a past that actually never happened? And yet it's the opportunity when we create that moment, that memory, that past, that the reason we're creating it, as Dave also said, is to give us the opportunity to choose. Do I want to respond from that vibration or a new vibration?
It's interesting too that the idea of the new moon and promise can also mean the idea that in the new moon, that's a reminder that your entire entourage has promised to be there to help and assist you. And they are helping and assisting by providing synchronicities, by creating the situations and the synchronicities to aid you along in the path of least resistance.
That's a very good point.
And
our higher selves really have promised to be with us.
I think that that could also be another meaning. And of course, in the celebration of the new moon, the idea of the promise and even the rainbow also being a promise of sort of the same thing, and new beginnings. And I've never really thought of it that way before.
Yeah, that is a really great, but that's what channeling is. And this is what we another thing that we want to demystify is channeling. Because the thing is that you're always receiving. And channeling is just verbally speaking out what you're receiving. And it's just simply saying what you're getting and without any resistance. And so that's exactly what that is.
So what made you decide this deck?
The funny thing is that it's been a little while since I've used this deck, and so
Show everybody.
So
because I wanted to say something about it.
So for some reason, and I've got my unicorn behind me. I know you guys can't see it, but I've got a unicorn statue named Eclipse, and so I just felt like today was about new wonder, new meanings, new magic, new beginnings, a rebirth, a reminding ourselves that we are new every now, that we are really magic, and that I'm glad you said that too about promise and about our guides, because about a gathering, that about our connectedness together is a gathering, and a gathering of unicorns is a blessing, and how blessed I feel when we gather like this, how I feel that we're the herd of us together are
and I think it's interesting that you chose that. I don't know if you remember
Oracle of the Unicorns, just so you guys can see it.
So we don't watch TV, but we started watching this show.
Oh my God, I was going to mention that show too, you guys. It's so weird. Talk about the physical and non-physical reality.
So what's the name?
Upload.
So it's called Upload.
And I don't know
so
what.
There was in the episode, we were watching old episodes because we've never watched it.
Do you know what television or what network it's on? I'm not sure. Anyway, it's a show called Upload. Very interesting.
But last night, half asleep, we're watching the show. but it's sort of a simulate. So I don't want to explain the whole thing, but essentially, consciousness is being put into a simulation, and there are different companies that run different simulations that allow your consciousness to go into it. But the idea is you die in physical reality to go into this simulation, and it's sort of like a controlled way of afterlife. But they were doing an update to their system, and to have this whole brand new update with all these cool things that you could do in heaven. But the way the update started was a unicorn appeared and rode through the landscape, bringing the update through the landscape.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so it's just funny.
And the backs of these cards are amazing, like the Aurora Borealis, this, and talk about the rainbow too. So I do love the backs of these cards. That show is crazy. I was thinking about it. That's really funny. Well, the first one I pulled is Innocence, and it is what appears to be a mommy and baby, I guess. Take time to play. Nurture your inner child. Live with a childlike sense of wonder. And I have to laugh because I put that in a post today about being in a sense of wonder today on Facebook. So that's kind of interesting too. So, innocence. And that's how I was feeling today. And that's why I picked this deck. I was feeling that childlike innocence, that needing to play, that wanting to play again, that I haven't really let myself play, and how much more I want to play, and what are the reasons why I'm holding back on playing. And actually, I was going to wear my fairy jacket today. Oh, I was going to wear my fairy jacket for this reading today. So, well, I have it. Well, we'll do some more readings, and I'll wear my fairy jacket because I was like so inspired to wear that today, and I completely forgot. And it's actually getting, now that the sun's going down, it's getting a little chillier. So I was like, that's what made me think of it. I was like, oh, I was going to bring my fairy jacket. And the next one I pulled is Miracles. And so this is another thing because I think I even mentioned something about miracles today. So, but that's again how I was feeling today, that and even Dave and I have been experiencing this idea that about miracles, and sometimes the just letting go and allowing the miracles to happen. And allowing that, allowing yourself to just play and following your highest joy and excitement, literally. I thought, why is it so hard for us to believe that if we follow our highest joy moment by moment, moment by moment, moment by moment, not then why is it so hard for us to understand that if we just follow our joy by moment without any insistence, that all the miracles will happen for us? And yet that's exactly what I've been experiencing. That's how it's been happening for us here. And once again, all of these things that we've been in our personal experience have been aggravating, irritating, tear-jerking, frustrating. And yet, as soon as I realize that the reason I'm feeling the feelings that I'm feeling is because I believe there's something wrong with what's going on. I believe that there's something wrong with what's happening in that now, because I have a different perspective on what's happening, even if it feels as if it's not right. And I will tell you, it's losing money, making decisions that didn't pan out right. And then you think, well, why would I do that? Why would I create that reality? Why would I do that to myself? Why? And once I realize I don't need to know why, I'm not supposed to know why. And that frustrates me more than anything. Ask Dave. I need to know why, because why? I don't know. Why do I need to know why? Once I let go of the need, I'm not designed to understand the why, the who, the what, the where, the if.
It's very freeing.
That's the thing. It's so freeing. And that's, I have to
why is this happening?
It's like, why do I have to force myself? Why do I have to force myself to surrender to my highest joy and excitement every moment? Why is that so
don't like what's going on right now? Because something that's high that you're more excited to do and go with that.
Sometimes I don't want to do that. It feels better to be mad about what's happening because you're not liking it than to go do something that's fun because you think, once again, it's no relation, but it's all related. It's all connected. We just don't see that. And so I've seen it for myself. Even these last 2 weeks, I have been more pissed off lately but yet for the level of that experience, I've also experienced the other side of the letting go of it, the realizing the beautiful miracle that it is, because the thing that didn't happen was the way it needed to be. And again, letting go, say, let's go do this, let's go play, let's go take a drive, let's go to the grocery store, whatever it is. And it was because we did those things that lend ourselves to the next thing, or we just follow it, because when you're in that cut off angry mode, you're not going to get the inspirations to do the things. And so that to guide us in that, my goodness, there's a lot of April 1st happenings today. Maybe they're punctuating our messages. That's usually how it is too. They'll say we're punctuating the miracle. So miracles, have faith that your miracle is on its way. Your prayers have been answered. Surrender the how.
There we go.
For me, it's the why, but the how. How is that going to happen by me going and following my highest joy? Well, that's exactly how it's happened for us. Miracles. Every moment is packed with potential miracles. That was
experiencing the miracles is the norm. We're just preventing the idea of experiencing all the miracles by our belief system and our perspective. So miracles happen all the time, all around. You don't have to do anything for the miracles to happen. They're all trying to get to you.
Well, yeah, that's true. It's hard to... We weren't even trying. We were just laughing about the idea that when we met, and we've shared this in videos from a couple of years ago. So if you're interested, just go back and check out those videos. But the miracles that happened and because we weren't even trying, we weren't even looking, and how these things just happen because I was following my highest joy, getting out of my comfort zone, doing something I had never done before. And that's what this day was. I really wanted to be about today too, was about that, reminding ourselves that when you're nervous, it's excitement. And even with me, I get nervous. I still get nervous with doing webinars. I still sometimes get nervous making videos if I haven't for a little while, because of all of those voices in my head that tell me I'm not good enough. Nobody wants to hear this stuff. It's not important. And yet I know, because of all of those who are out there sharing their gifts and abilities. And I listen to those videos and I'm telling Dave, oh my God, the synchronicities, and how did that help me so much? And how there's certain people I've watched for years and years, and I have come to also love. And even if I've never even commented on their videos, which happens a lot. And so we love when you guys comment, but we also understand, I know when I don't either, it's because I needed to hear the message. And yet I also know that when I do need to comment, it's because someone else needs to see it, whether it's the person who's creating the video, whether it's somebody else looking at the comments. So I know that when I do, it's because it's just the moment. So, but yet, so I'm so grateful to all of those people. And so I realize that even when I have those negative voices in my head, then that's the times that I love you guys so much. That's the times when it's like you instinctively know, and somebody will send me an email or send me a private message or put a comment on the video. And it's like they just sort of knew that that's what I needed to hear in that moment. And I'm so grateful. I cannot explain to you guys how grateful I am that you share your nows with us, that you enjoy your time with us as much as we enjoy doing these, and being in this beautiful nature setting. And I did want to pull from the Gateway deck today, because I was also so excited that it's the first of the month, and today's date equals 11, and everybody knows how if you've been hanging around a little while, how much I enjoy the number 11 and 1111, and that was my awakening code. And I sort of woke up like kind of completely in 11, 2011, and I was born in the 11th month.
We saw a lot of 11s yesterday, right?
We did, and I've been sharing all these numeric synchronicities, which it's been like kind of like a flow. So once you open the door, so once again, we thank you so much for watching these videos and sharing your joy and energy with all of us. And just by your watching is a completely new co-creation. It creates something brand new between the three of us and all of us, and the four of us, and all of you out there. For each and every one of you guys that's sharing this now with us, it creates a whole new co-creation. So it's really exciting.
And interestingly, not only are you watching the video, if you're watching it, but there are countless other beings watching at all times.
Always, yes.
Way more than the
our
YouTube count shows.
And our guides are
and all the other versions of ourselves that we're connecting with, and all the other versions of yourself that are connecting with, watching the video that you're watching of us right now. So sometimes the message might not even be for you. It might be for a different version of you that needs to hear the message.
That's true too.
Needs to experience your reaction to watching the video, to have
good
your
points.
perspective.
Very good points.
And all these things are shared in every now moment.
All true.
And sometimes the versions of you are in the same time reality.
Yes.
So there could be, let's just say, there are infinite numbers of Earth, all experiencing now. Well, versions of you are in different versions of Earth in this now.
And each version of those versions of you and other Earths each also have their own unlimited number of versions and guides.
So it could be like versions of you that would be in what we would consider our linear past or our linear future, but it could also be now. And there are versions of you probably also on Earth now with us.
Asha would like to remind me and all of you right now too that she's saying right now that even though she's not born yet, she's also able to share in this experience because it's not linear. I'm having a difficult time even wrapping my mind around this. For me to understand that I have this counterpart in me that's part of me, but that's not born yet, and yet she's going to be. Yet she can share experiences from her reality.
I'm waving to a Yael ship, presenting itself as just a plane, because they don't fool me.
Because they don't fool. And I was reminded too. I was talking to Dave about this yesterday. I pulled the card cherish self, and we've got good food and coffee. So we're talking about our coffee here. Mine's Cup of Inspiration. So coffee, tea, whatever it is.
Yeah, normally it's tea, but French press coffee is just so good.
and so we've got wine and a gift box here and a beautiful food and roses, flowers.
Oh, happy Goddess Friday, everybody.
Oh, and happy Goddess Friday, everybody. That's right. I don't even think you said that to me today yet.
Yes, I did.
Oh, did you? Of course you did.
I yelled it from the front porch.
So, how can you cherish yourself more? How can you be more in tune with you and receive more of your multidimensional information? How can you be more into yourself? And I was talking about how I guess if we have to be human, we might as well enjoy the food and the drink and share our excitement about all of those things and all of the things that Earth has to offer us, and all of the plant medicine and all of the things and all of the teachers. And so I just said that to him yesterday, that as much as sometimes it's annoying to have to stop what I'm doing and okay, what are we going to eat, and that and then cleaning up and all of those things, and sometimes they don't seem like our highest joy and excitement. So I told him, I said, well, at least we can eat good food and enjoy that, and or at least enjoy those for as far as all of us can take those things. So we'll put it that way, since all of us can enjoy different things in different ways. So that is a good message for all of us too, that sometimes we don't even recognize in those moments when we're just like eating something very simple, even how that's cherishing ourselves and making. Are you gonna pull a card? All right then. You gonna shuffle?
It's not a card trick.
I thought you were just gonna pull a card. He says, no, I want to shuffle. He's gonna shuffle.
Oh.
And there's and this is truly a gateway for all of us. This time.
They don't always fall out. But...
Oh, there you go. Is that the card or is that not the card?
No,
is that the card?
card?
All right. Well, cultivating prosperity. And funny how I got the planting seeds today. Every minute, well, here, let me read the card. The abundance of the universe is pouring into my life. And it's funny because I've been planting seeds. We've shared a few things about the garden. I was just planting herb seeds, and
we haven't decided if it's more fun buying the seeds or planting the seeds and growing them. But Wendy really loves buying the seeds, finding them. looking through the seeds, deciding what to get. That might be more fun than actually
Maybe I'll
planting
even
them.
plant them. No, I did plant a lot of herb seeds, but then anyway, we had a windstorm, a big storm come through. The same night we had a fire across. Actually, the fire was right there across the street, and we had a fire and a storm the same night, so it kind of wiped out half of my seeds. Not the fire, just the storm.
Thank you, firemen of
And thank you.
Oneonta.
Yeah, so we thank the firemen, the rest, all the fire and rescue, and all of the responders from Oneonta
Yeah.
for sparing all of our homes. They did a great job. It was
a big brush
a
fire.
very big brush fire up the mountain here. So I did a little video. We just went and drove to see what it looked like the morning after yesterday morning, and I did a really quick video about what it looked like, so I may share it. But
Well, yeah, like everyone was evacuated.
I mean,
except for
yeah,
us.
it was the weirdest thing, and
Mhm.
and the funny thing is that as I saw the fire trucks coming, and I sort of just did this, I did this little intentional, put this beautiful bubble around our house, and I just said thank you to all of the responders, and that that we that we stay safe in our, and I don't really like using the word safe necessarily, because it has so many negative connotations. But I just put this little bubble around us, and I just said thank you for blessing our home and keeping the fire at bay. And I sort of also talked to, my inner shaman, and spoke to and I swear to you guys, I swear to you guys, the wind was so intense. It was like the Santa Ana winds blowing through here, and they were having a hard time fighting the fire because it was so windy, and we could see the flames. Um, and I even said, I spoke to the sky and I spoke to the winds, and I just asked that they calm, that the winds calm, and that the rains come. And I did know that we were expecting rain that day, so I just simply asked that the rain come, and I'm telling you, within minutes of them, I mean, it was really getting out of hand, and it just within minutes, it had been burning for a couple hours, I think, hadn't it, by that time? And it just, all of a sudden, the rain just started to pour, and within minutes, it was like the fire was out, and it looked like all the homes pretty much were spared any damage, with maybe exception of maybe someone's, their home or their barn or something was a little charred, but anyway, so
Yeah, we live in the woods, so
I-
a lot of our neighbors' homes are like off the road in the woods, so it's hard to really see
right,
what's going on. But I did see one. There was one home,
just like
that,
the edges that looked like
yeah.
had,
So I don't know if it was heat damage,
Yeah.
but the firemen did a wonderful job
Yes,
at
they did.
containing the fire.
yes, they did.
And,
And we don't have, I mean, we're rural here, so there's not
Mhm.
fire hydrants. We
And-
don't have
and the promise.
the promise.
Yeah, can I see? The promise was upheld.
Yes. So that was so with that said, I include that in abundance and prosperity, that our home was spared any kind of damage at all, and it was, but I have to tell you guys, there was an interesting experience I had when they told us to pack a bag, because they did evacuate all the homes but ours, but they said pack a bag in case you have to evacuate. And the funny part about it is I had this sort of weird moment of complete inner peace, which I'm not even sure I really shared with Dave all that much, except a little bit as it was happening. But it was like, okay, what do I really need to take with me? If I had the idea that maybe I could come back, just a moment, just a flash, that if I were to come back to nothing, and I had this odd sort of moment of peace in that I didn't feel any kind of fear or emotional connection to things. In that moment, I felt so complete that I felt like, I'm not saying I wouldn't have been like, had an emotion or been sad about my things, because I'm not really sure how, but I'm sure I probably would have reacted that way. But there was this moment of, and I've been in this situation before, where in a fire situation, and I felt no panic. I felt no fear. I felt no like, oh my God, I have to take this and I have to take that. And we don't have any pets. So of course that would have been, our animals would have been probably the only number one thing. But it was like nothing else seemed to, and I don't want to say matter, because I don't mean it that way. And I don't even mean to say that I was detached, but for the first time I felt free. I felt so free in that I didn't have any kind of feeling of loss, that no matter what happened, everything would be okay. That there wasn't anything that I was so attached to. And I'm talking my whole life's worth of stuff, and pictures, all of it. None of it was, I felt this need to have to save. And it was very calming, and it was very freeing. And it felt really good to be in that space for that moment. And I don't know what that says about anything at all.
We only need each other.
Maybe that's what it was, but that's how it felt. It was just, I didn't have any fear. I didn't have any anxiety. And yet maybe it was because I just knew that everything was going to be okay anyway. And that, but it was like, even though I put the bubble on, it was sort of like I was okay with whatever happened. It just, and I know that may sound strange, but maybe somebody needed to hear that. So, so yes, this video's gone on much, much longer than I expected, but I'm so grateful to be with all of you, and for all of you who watch bits, pieces, parts, or all of it. We are so grateful to be able to expand our multidimensionality by sharing with all of you, and that we get to interact with all of your multidimensional selves as well, and your guides. It's very, very fulfilling and heartwarming.
So I kid you not.
Flow.
Find an easier path forward, surrender the outcome, and release your expectations.
Well, I think that is a beautiful way to end the reading.
As we started the reading talking about flow, we will end the reading talking about flow. The circle has been complete.
And we really are supposed to work smarter, not harder. Surrender. There's nothing for anything to let go of. It's just simply moving your focus to that which you're already flowing, all the abundance that's already flowing, and literally letting go to allow the power that you already are to reveal itself. Wow. So excited. So I think right now I'd like to share a light language blessing with all of you to activate within you whatever it is that you want to give birth to. What is it that you want to begin anew? What new things do you want to focus on? Dave wants to focus on dinner. His tummy's growling. Where is it that you need to see the abundance and the blessings that you already have? And how is it that you can surrender to your inner innocence, your magical, miraculous self? And how often I talk myself even out of doing the things that excite me the most for the same reasons everyone else does. Fears about not being loved, not being accepted. And as Dave and I joke about all the time, Bashar, I think, said that one time, and that, I'm afraid I'm going to be shunned by every planet and every universe and every multiverse, and no one's going to love me. And yet, of course, that's simply not ever, ever, ever going to be the truth, because I know there's at least one person out there that loves me, and I know that's me and my higher self, and I know that there's another being out there too.
Could be the same one.
Of course it is, because we're our own reflection of each other, right? We create our versions of each other. And that's a whole nother subject, you guys. So this is my highest joy and excitement. As you can see, I'm always exhilarated and exuberant in the sharing of it all. And Dave knows that, so he pokes and prods me, and pushes me out of my comfort zone. And so thank you for all of you little miracles, you. And once again, if you're ever interested in a personal private reading, if you're interested in learning more about my journey and light language activations, if you're looking to open up your own light language voice, if you're looking for some clarity, we're always open here for private sessions, myself or both of us. We're still exploring all kinds of other ideas, and want people to come visit. And so there's so many things that we appreciate you
I'm
guys sharing.
111.
1111. I love it. Nisiwa soheshiana kila sodoria elohona yakiashase. Simutuvieshanase inkia. My highest joy, our highest joy, is to serve our highest excitement. Niatoveshe tiwalokoya levisomoria shamo orokose tivishonoba ayakiabasonotoe ishanasete. Niabo. And I want to remind everybody that all of my sessions are my joy and expression. The sharing is the exchange. Of course, that if you would like to offer a donation voluntarily, but I don't want anybody to hesitate because of the idea of financial exchange. So that in of it's a, if you want to donate, if you can, that's great, but it's in the sharing. It's all about the sharing. The gift is our presence together. Na lo sopo shanukliana seve somudo kela shopoto plashine kilasa na tela kasava plashonoto ve ela sanoto ekaya la shento kembaruko seve sone la shanako ita le zuboso ushuva kushiniki la sotovena. And I was reminded, Dave, about the article that you read today. Whether it's true or not, we don't really know, about the American dollar and being worthless. And all of a sudden I'm reminded that, we are our gifts to each other. And if today the dollar became worthless, what is your value? What is my value? It's got nothing to do with money. If I put my gifts and only limited myself to a monetary value, I feel that would be very limiting to me. And I certainly would not want to put my personal self-value on a piece of paper. My self-worth. And showing, helping you see your self-worth is the gift. And again, money, this paper, it's only one version, one piece, one expression of abundance. And if all of that went away tomorrow, what is it that would be your gift, your service to yourself and to all that is? And I hope it's the thing that excites you the most, that makes your heart bubble and soar and just dance with the childlike innocence of miracles. I love you so much.
I'm pretty sure all that is, God, does not have a credit card reader.
Pretty sure. Nyakose. Mwah. I love you. 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 I know you guys probably get sick of seeing us kiss. Mwah. Nyato Vishentia. We love you so much. Namaste. Nyakote.
Tuaya ne te I kaana, he te ua ne te ina drutua na, he na te uka ne te. And I'm reminded also that it is self-empowering to speak light language, and you could do it privately. You could just be sitting, hanging out in front of the fireplace and just want to chant.
Yes.
Bang on your, clap your hands. If you don't have anything else, let out whatever comes out, and that's part of finding your own voice.
I feel like I haven't done enough light language stuff lately either on videos and singing, and so it's like I feel like my voice is like wanting to come out more too. So so thank you for saying that too. It's like my heart is speaking to all of you. Sorry, I keep kicking the table. Namaste. Mahala. The light within me illuminates the light within you, and the light within you illuminates the light within me. And together we all illuminate the light of all that is. Nyato Veshe Kianote Vea. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Sharing.
Sharing.